Alright, so I'm just gonna completely ad-lib this. Um, anyway, no scripts, no YouTube bullshit here. But, obviously, in the past, week or so, Reiza released their new patch and update with, the, I guess, 2006 Formula 1 cars, 2005 Formula 1 cars, and 2008 Formula 1 cars, amongst, I'm sure there's a few others in there, but my main interest is Formula 1. But all the usual suspects and YouTubers are out there praising the AI and the improvements made to that, as well as, some other things. Now, I'm sure the opening clips you just saw. This is just I did a 50% race at Montreal, obviously in the 2006 cars with the '06 skin pack, so it actually has some AI that's been tweaked, at least according to the modders. Um, Now, that's one thing, but you obviously saw a little bit earlier with the old replay. I was, I wanted to have this whole thing just be like TV camera, the external broadcast cameras, trackside cameras, but it didn't want to do it. It just kept with the first track, um, the first trackside camera off the race start. So I had to click a button and change it. And there's me turning a Toro Rosso over around because it just stopped in the middle of the corner. So um, where to start, really? I don't know. I don't know if the game audio is too loud or not, so I'll just turn it down a little bit. Um, so yeah, it's been a few years since I've given it a decent run. Obviously, I did a video a few years ago now. I'd have to check. I think maybe 4 years ago, when they released another update where they'd improved some things supposedly in terms of the force feedback, or that again, the AI and stuff. And again, the AI, in terms of being able to customize them and have them have sort of semi-realistic car performance, is I guess it's a nice addition, but something that's been available in most sims to this point that you're able to access the files with. So it's not groundbreaking in any way. It's you know just been coded in a way that's a little bit easier, than opposed to completely modifying the actual car physics files and the AI files within that, combined with the talent files for each of the drivers. Yeah, again, the big YouTubers all talking about, well, big, I guess, in quotation marks, but all the usual AMS2 and some other sim racing YouTube channels all talking about the improved AI. So I thought, well, here we go. Now, I know they didn't fix my big pet peeve in this update, and I don't think this game engine will ever fix the steering that is definitely completely in this game for a gamepad. And I'll bring that up right now because I'm already there. I'm already revved up about it. In terms of, again, for me, the feeling with the car and everything, there's just no feel. It feels like you're just floating still. You sort of feel like you're sort of driving a little bit when you put in maybe the first 25 to 40 degrees of steering lock, but once you get over 70 and once you get to 90, when you're really trying to obviously, turn the car, particularly at the turn 2 there at Montreal, nothing. Every other sim, and I mean that, and even some arcade games, or simcade games, they, you get to that final sort of really 30 degrees of steering lock, 25 degrees of steering lock that you want to input, and you can feel it. You know where the front is. You feel like you're driving something, especially at low speed. AMS2, P cars, obviously same game engine, just is just non-existent. But anyway, with regards to the AI, obviously you're seeing me just drive through the field here. I did run lower downforce, so I suspect, than the AI. Again, I did, I think, maybe 6 laps of practice before jumping into this with 100% AI, and I did run with historical performance on with this mod. And as you can see, the AI just, just moving in your way when you're setting a move up. So in real life, Rosberg would have been driven, well, he would have been hit, and we both would have had a driven style accident, with probably me ending up in the rowing facilities on the left, and him probably frisbeeing himself without a rear wing into the big casino sign. But anyway, AI on track performance in terms of the actual racing has not improved. I don't know if this video is going to go long enough. I only recorded, I think, the first 15 laps of the race, because I didn't think the video is going to go that long, or this video is going to go this long. But what you'll see, and you can see it just ahead on your screen, is that the AI. Now, there's numerous things with this. Is the AI? Well, for starters, it's not realistic. So dirty air may or may not be present in the game. I don't know. Can't really feel it. It might be a thing. It might not. But in terms of, pardon me, of being coming off a flu, we're good. We're gonna have it, so we'll go. But yeah, they'll race side by side for a complete lap. So positioning doesn't matter for them. Another thing that'll happen a bit later on, maybe it might pick it up, is that I'll go side by side with an AI car through through the final chicane. I was on the inside initially, and the AI was on the outside for the first part of that final chicane. So I'm on the right hand side, going into the final chicane. The AI is on the left. I gave it space, but the AI drove straight over the big sausage curb and didn't bounce or anything. Now, the physics with this with these cars, especially at this track, which is actually a little bit bumpy, and I did have to actually tune a little bit of the dampers just to soften it. These cars are pretty susceptible to bouncing, and when they do that in this game, because I'm not going to call it a sim, is what ends up happening is that if you put your foot down, traction control doesn't do anything, obviously, because it's just free spinning anyway. Because your wheels are in the air and you just spin, or you over rotate and you spin up the wheels. But anyway, so the AI are not affected at all by curbing, as you can, you saw the McLaren up ahead just go straight over the big sausage curbs, which for the user is extremely difficult to navigate without dropping time and grip. Not only that, is the AI are able to, well, they seem to have unlimited grip in whichever circumstance. So if the game decides that it's going to stay on that car is going to stay on the circuit, it will stay on the circuit on your outside or wherever, and it will maintain its racing speed. So they have unlimited traction and they have unlimited torque. So what ends up happening with the AI racing each other is that, again, you have these trains, and all race long, the two Renaults were together. All race long. So it seemed like Alonso was faster than Fisichella, and I think Alonso eventually gets ahead of him. But again, they're separated by 2 tenths for the entire time. And then later on as well in the race, you go through the field and you'd have 2 or 3 cars just separated by 2 tenths, and it's just essentially a train. No overtaking, or if they did, again, they're side by side for half a lap, where physically, just in terms of, because of the different lines and natures of the corners, a car on a specific line, whether it be the outside in one portion or the inside at the other, isn't going to be able to get the drive and the traction to to hold on to that position. And then there's other times sorry, where again, you'll make a move on them, a legitimate move, and instead of what would happen in real life, they'd have to give up the corner, because let's say there's it's at a chicane, they just hold their line or cut the chicane and don't lose any time at all. Yeah. So the AI, as much as people want to rave about them being improved, have not improved. Um, I guess it's nice that AI do race each other, but it's not realistic in any sense. In any sense. Um, so in terms of AI, I'll be honest. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Grand Prix Series AI because when the user raced the AI in that, um, they would cheat in the essence in that they would move as many times as they could to defend position. So they'd move 5 or 6 times on a straight if if you had a run. And a lot of the time you'd end up just getting punted off by them because they'd moved 6 times and then moved right before the start of a braking zone. Now it's not quite that levels um, in terms of their aggressiveness, but then again I did have it on, I think, medium or something. Um, but it is unrealistic in the way that AI perform in AMS2. And I'm sure I'll get retorted by some if this gets more than 50 views, which I doubt. In that, um, again, like, I don't care. I don't care about, oh, look, you can tweak the performance of them. What I want is AI, and again, another one here is the hairpin, right? Um, yeah, I don't care that you can tweak their performance. That's easy enough. But in terms of like being able to race them, and in terms of immersion and realism, it's just not there. Um, it's not really improved all that much. And if we're honest, you can get this. If Grand Prix 4 was actually playable on my PC, I'd play it and mod it. But unfortunately, whenever I try modding Grand Prix 4, the game just chugs at 100% CPU capacity, and the entire game performance is built off of that. But anyway, another thing to notice is AI logic when it comes to blue flags. Um, Again, they just drive around like you're not there. Or they might slow a little bit, but they're just a hindrance. So you'll get the big LED signs. I got them obviously later on in the race. And again, they did nothing. They did nothing. They just annoy you. And then that also race you. I had a bit after the second pit stops, which isn't recorded, where David Coulthard exited the pits just in front of me, and I passed him straight away into turn 3, I think it was. And then he proceeded to try and lap me, or unlap himself, even though, the AI at that, well, his AI is, as you can see on the screens, 2 seconds a lap slower than what mine was, or than what I was. And I was getting fast as the race went on, so it ended up being 3 to 4 seconds a lap slower. But for that outlap, he was able to keep up because he sort of helped me wobble because I had to get past him. So again, AI logic in terms of lap traffic, shit house. Poor. Another thing to take note of with regards to the AI, what was it? Yes, the awareness. So you've already seen a little bit of it. So not only have they got the obviously the unlimited grip when they selectively want to use it, there's logic as well with regards to performance in that they'll stop if they're in a pack or the AI skill level isn't deemed good enough in the middle of, well, not stop, but slow more than what they should in an unrealistic manner, which is what we saw very early on in the video with the Toro Rosso just stopping in front of me at turn 2, and I just turned it around. Again, I have to race AMS2 with damage off because the AI is, just unpredictable and not realistic. So there's that. There was a couple other points that I did want to bring up. So we've gone through all those different things, and then we also have yes, back on the awareness. So yeah, we saw it at the hairpin a couple laps ago, with the Renault. If you take a slightly different line, you're going to be ahead anyway. Um, the AI will still just put their nose in and just drive like you're not there. That's been a feature since day one. Again, I've got this on medium, so I don't even have it on max AI aggression. And yeah, particularly at the hairpin here and at other slow corners and stuff like that, if you take a slightly different line because that's the line you prefer, or you just outbrake yourself a little bit, and you got a double apex it, they'll stick their nose in and just drive into you. And that also ties in with the lap traffic AI and racing AI in general, in that then like when the helicopter or heli radar, whatever it's called, appears on the screen, like they do tend to give you a little bit of space, but then there's other times where if suddenly you slow and they catch up, or vice versa, they have no awareness at all, and they just drive into you. Even if they can see your car the entire they should be able to see your entire car the entire time. So the AI has not improved. So obviously this is 16 minutes of me rambling about this. Look, the content is nice. Having the 2006 not Honda, in the game, it is actually one of my favourite cars. Even if one of the biggest sooks of all time, Rubens Barrichello, drove it. One point of note as well on the modelling, and this is a feature of not just this car here, but almost all of the open wheel cars, is the positioning of the driver and the driver helmet and head. Too high. I don't know who Reiza, was looking at in terms of reference photos of the driver position in this car, but the driver must have been at least 6'5". His head's way too high. And when you look at it, see, you can it's too high. It's sitting a couple inches too tall, and yeah, that's another thing that should be easily fixable. Another thing with regards to AI, and this is obviously on screen here, you're starting to see these battles, so you can see Kimi Räikkönen and Michael Schumacher just battling it out side by side, and not able to split each other. But another thing is, you can look on the left hand side of your screen, is the gaps. Obviously everyone's done their pit stop except for me at this point, so don't look from pretty much second place on down, and the field spread is way too small. So this is more mod related than anything, but if they want proper historical performance with this stuff, here's a reference. So we're on lap 14 here. On the screen, lap 11 of the real life Canadian Grand Prix. You've got obviously Alonso and Raikkonen battling it out. I think from memory, Raikkonen had a little bit less fuel. I'd have to rewatch the full race again. And Trulli was holding up Schumacher, and then Fisichella had a drive-through penalty for a jump start. Button, Villeneuve, Massa. Well, Massa was battling Villeneuve, but massive field spread. You get down to obviously Webber in 10th. That's a pit stop. That's a pit stop. Even Heidfeld may even, if Alonso pitted, he might come out in front of Heidfeld and just behind Massa, and then clean 30 plus seconds, or Barrichello onwards 30 plus seconds back. From Alonso down, again, Webber is 30 seconds. Oh no, he's not 30 seconds back. He's about 22 seconds back. So 6 seconds, it's not that much, but you look at it, and again, whenever I've done these races, it's not big enough. Like you watch the start of a real life Grand Prix, and you watch the start of one of these AMS2 races, and they stick together. Anyway, this is 16 or 20 minutes of me having a whinge at AMS2 and all the influences that and quote unquote sim races that seem to think the AI is fantastic. They're not. If you want to play it, I'm not saying don't, but don't expect the game and the AI to be significantly better, because they're not. There's just a couple performance tweaks that you can now slightly change if you know what you're doing.